So, anyway, fellas, here we are again. I wanted to talk to you guys about something, the hidden meaning in music. Have you two ever heard of the group, the 80s group Human League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Well, they have a song called Don't You Want Me, sung by the front man and the front woman of the song. But I pulled up the lyrics because I thought that this was very interesting. It starts off by the man saying that you were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar when I met you. He talked about how he picked her up. He showed her around town, introduced her to a bunch of new people that she would have never met as a waitress at a cocktail bar. It goes on to talk about how 5 years later on, that she had the world at her feet. So I'm assuming that the people that she met kind of gave her opportunities to not be a cocktail waitress, but to actually have a life better than that of somebody who was just serving others. However, she gets to the point where she's ready to leave this guy. And so that's when the chorus comes in, when he's like, don't you want me? Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me now? You know the rest. And so he goes on to say, it's much too late to find. You think you've changed your mind. He said, you better change it back or we'll both be sorry. If that ain't a threat like I've ever heard before, an abusive boyfriend, like, where do you think you going? You never changed your mind about being with me. But on contraire, my friend, you ain't going nowhere. You staying right here with me. And if you try to leave, we both gonna be sorry. Cause you gonna be dead, and he probably saying he gonna kill himself if he's gonna be sorry too. What's y'all's take on this and just music overall and the nature of the hidden message and what our society has contributed to situations like this?
Roscoe?
Man, you know what's funny is, I trip off this song a lot because of the thing that you notice, and we've talked about this. Me and Joe V have talked about it a lot, between ourselves, and not only this song but other songs that have these little hidden meanings in them. And this one is just crazy, like you said. This completely obsessive dude who he finds this poor little waitress, and somehow he's thinking that he's done her some type of favor, like, I'm gonna bless you with my presence, I was saying this to House, how, I look at the song lyric on how the song begins, and he says how, I picked you up, I dusted you off, or what have he said that, but I think of it like an old jacket or something, he run into the thrift store, and I see this old little nifty jacket, and I'm like, Lord, look at this little cute jacket. If I just dust it off a little bit, and now it's got some shine and some glow to it, I add some things to it, but now, the jacket has went over and jumped into somebody else's hands. It's in somebody else's possession now, and somebody else has dolled up this jacket, to make it beautiful. And now you mad because this person is stunting in your jacket, or so you looking at it as, So
yeah, it ain't yours no more. But that's the hidden message. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that we have music in the Black community like the message. You know what I'm saying? That come out and people listen to that and then they understand, but the song that we're covering here, people just do the Charlie Brown too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't pay no attention. There is no message in it, but there is. It's a strong message.
Very strong.
But I don't understand why some music gets scrutinized and other music doesn't.
Go deeper.
This reminds me of an article I just came across about an inmate that is suing the jail for taking his music, which was Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd, I can't remember what else, but they also took his reading materials, like Louis Farrakhan and things of that nature. But it's sad that we get scrutinized, but others don't.
Right.
You're talking about domestic violence in that song, but they took his Kendrick Lamar music because they say it glorifies gang violence.
Which it doesn't. Which it doesn't at all. If you're talking Kendrick Lamar in particular, you know.
And that's what they said.
Yeah, Kendrick is more so along the lines of a hood CNN. He's very much so a reporter, and he does not promote the violence. You know, he talks about emotions that someone may have dealing with domestic terrorism in our Black neighborhoods traditionally, but that's not promoting. That's telling a story. It's no different than any movie. We have a lot of violent movies that have come out, and I won't get into it. I'll let you touch on that, Roscoe.
No, I mean, they talk about how our music could be, you know, violent or damaging to a person when, you know, that same kind of stuff could be heard in their music. Worse things can be seen in their movies, the imagery that they put out. So there's very much and we talked about this already, about the old rapper comparison, the argument that rappers would make a long time ago when they would say, you know, you talk about how our music is violent and we promote gangsterism, but you know, not only what did America teach us that stuff, but you know, you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, you know, Bruce Willis, you know, Sylvester Stallone. You know, you could go to any one of these guys and at the height of their glory, really, you know, but you'll see movies with them killing 100 people, you know, making jokes about it along the way, you know, and, you know, one-liners and all this, and everybody just laughs and takes it in, and they become iconic based off that. But then we get ostracized, and we get downgraded into a seedier level because and we're doing the same things, really not the same things, because a lot of our people, you name Kendrick Lamar, but you go for our era, Ice Cube would be the equivalent of the same thing, you know. Scarface, you could say the same thing. These guys were more reporters. They explained what was happening and gave a detail about the experience that we all live. So that was what was happening. It wasn't them promoting it. It was just exposing it for what it was.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about those three men that you mentioned, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Willis? You can take all of their movies and then give them all their own individual body counts. But all three of those men actually starred in the Expendables series. And if you've seen the body count in those particular movies, it's actually astronomical, the number of people that they lay out quite flat in that.
Yeah, but see, this is the problem with some people in America. They go back and say Africans were such savages, such savagery. Oh my God, savages. But that shit is savage itself. Look at that savagery. I mean, you're not comparing apples and oranges. You comparing knives and guns.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah. No, it's the pot calling the kettle black. That's all it is.
That's it.
It's just one of those things, man. Everybody has their own way of doing kind of the same thing. So for one to say one is uh, worse than the next one, it just may look different, but it's all the same shit. When it's all said and done, your shit is just like my shit. What I would say to people when they try to look at people who may be crackheads when they smoke a shitload of weed. It's like you looking at somebody else's vice. Your vice is, it's a different vice, but it's a vice.
Right.
When it's all said and done. So yeah, and this will be the same thing. You talk about all this destruction and the behind, the music and what have you, and we talk about this Human League song where, like you said, there's domestic violence or it's being alluded to, but yeah, a lot of this stuff is crazy, and we've just sat and danced through a lot of these songs not knowing that this kind of shit was happening. Crazy.
So I guess the takeaway from something like this is that all this stuff was made in America. America's been a violent place. It'll continue to be a violent place. But I do want to highlight more songs like this with a hidden meaning, especially a lot of pop songs, because there's a ton of them. But I just wanted this to be our first entry into exploring this stuff as time goes on. Like I said, I don't think a lot of people were aware what this song was about. There probably were some, but we're just trying to shine light on situations like this. At any rate, y'all got anything going on? Any shout outs? Anything y'all doing?
Not me. You, Roscoe?
No, nobody I could think of right off the top. If I think of somebody, I'll shout them out in another.
Right. Yeah, I just want to shout out my boy Terry Sambula. He dealt with a similar situation to this, but in reverse. Having a woman trying to kill you, his wife in particular. I won't say her name, but Terry, my heart goes out to you for everything that you've endured and put up with. All I can say is, bro, keep your head up, stay strong. And other than that, Warheads out.